All right, everybody, buckle up because we are diving deep today. Deep, deep into morality, ethical showdowns. Relativism versus absolutism. Is there just one right way to be right?
And we've got this ethicalrelativism.pdf. It's actually, it's pretty good at laying it all out. Like, it's for students, to wrap their heads around it.
Yeah, I saw the whole questions for chapter 2 and 3 thing. Total flashback. But this isn't just some dusty old classroom thing, right? This is big. It's about how we decide, how we judge, ourselves, other people, everything.
Exactly. And they jump right in talking about ethical relativism, basically saying there's no fixed right or wrong. It all
Yeah.
depends. Culture, the times you live in, even just what you personally believe.
So, no universal truth. Everything's just up for grabs. Part of me likes that, a little dangerous. But think about how much has changed even lately. Like, the text mentions premarital pregnancy, homosexuality, living together used to be huge no-dos now. Pretty normal for lots of folks.
It's true. This is the new normal, right?
Hmm.
Relativism explains that shift, how something scandalous can become just how things are. And a lot of that ties back to postmodernism, this idea that there is no one big truth.
See, there's that word, postmodernism, one of those I pretend to get at parties. What's the connection, though, to this idea of relative truth?
Basically, postmodernism says a lot of what we believe totally shape it when and where we live. Ideas about morality. They might not be objective truth, just products of our environment. How much of you is really you, and how much is just the world you're in.
Whoa. Okay, that got deep fast. But I kind of get it. So everyone's truth is valid, even if it, completely contradicts someone else's.
In a way, yeah. But it's important to remember there are different types of relativism, like individual relativism. You do you, I'll do me.
Right, right. And the text uses abortion as an example. Some people believe it should be available. Others want to see current laws stay in place. It shows how individual values can create very different ethical stances.
Exactly. And then there's cultural relativism. That's where it gets really interesting. And maybe a little tricky.
Like, if your whole society says something's okay, does that make it right, even if other cultures are like, whoa, not cool?
Like explaining, I don't know, internet culture to someone's grandparents. What's normal to you seems bizarre to them, right? But we're not just talking funny memes here. The text talks about freedom of speech, what you wear. So different depending on where you are in the world.
Wild, right? Our sense of right and wrong, totally shaped by our surroundings. But this whole individual versus cultural relativism thing, where's the line between what I believe and what society's telling me is okay?
Like a constant push and pull, right?
Yeah.
And then you add in stuff like emotivism, egoism, taking that you do you to a whole other level.
Oh, yeah. Those are the ones that make you think, maybe there are limits to this whole relative thing. So remind me, emotivism, that's all about.
Morality boils down to feelings, basically. If it feels right, it's right, at least to you. No external rules or anything.
So just your gut feeling is your moral compass. Interesting, but kind of scary, no? What if my gut leads me to make, some messed up choices?
That's a big criticism of emotivism, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really help you when feelings clash or with tough decisions. And then there's egoism, which is totally different. The text uses this example of foreign aid. An egoist would be like, why should I give up anything to help others? Me first.
It's like, nice guys finish last, but in this case, it's nice people. I get the logic, but man, cold, right?
Right. Challenges how we think about altruism, empathy, all that. But think about it in everyday life. Cutthroat job.
Yeah.
An egoist might say all's fair in love and, promotions, even if it means screwing over coworkers, bending the rules.
Okay. Yeah, now I'm feeling a little icky about the egoism thing. Where is the line? Man, this deep dive really makes you think. Speaking of which, the text mentions this Nietzsche guy. He was all about shaking things up morally.
Oh, Nietzsche's fascinating. He went after traditional morality, especially the religious kind. He's the one who said God is dead, and people were not happy about it.
Yeah, not exactly subtle. He walked into philosophy and just flipped the table over. So what was his deal? What did he offer instead of the old rules?
Well, he talked about slave morality versus master morality. Slave morality, according to him, is all about compassion, selflessness, the stuff we think of as good.
Being nice, basically. Turning the other cheek.
Exactly. But Nietzsche saw that as weakness, a way to keep people down. Like morality imposed by the powerful on the weak to control them. Master morality was different. Ambition, self-realization, going for what you want.
So playing it safe versus going for it. Even if you got to break some rules, I can see the appeal. Especially if you feel held back by all that, societal stuff.
Right. And you can see how his ideas are kind of relevant now. individualism, personal achievement, all that. But Nietzsche wasn't just saying, do whatever. He thought you should strive for something higher, beyond the usual
You
morality.
don't follow the herd, make your own path, even if it's scary, bold, but also kind of intense. Not everyone's cut out to be philosopher Rettel.
He definitely makes you think differently. Agree or not, he asks important questions about good and evil, where our values come from. Should we just accept the rules we're given?
It's like he's making us look at the foundation of everything. Uncomfortable. But sometimes you need that to grow, I guess.
Totally. And Nietzsche's a very particular, maybe extreme view, but there are tons of others, all grappling with this whole relative versus absolute truth thing.
So it's like we've gone on this whole philosophical road trip, right? From anything goes to like, these rules, set in stone, my head's spinning, but in a good way.
That's ethics for you. It's not about the right answers, but the right questions to ask.
So where does that leave us with this whole relativism versus absolutism thing? We've gone back and forth. I don't know if there's a winner.
Maybe that's the point. The text even says, if we think that there are global dilemmas where discussion across cultures is necessary and meaningful, we must reject cultural relativism. It's like, how can we even talk about fixing things together if we don't agree on some basic right and wrong?
Makes sense. But then sticking to absolute rules all the time, that's tough too, right? Like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole sometimes.
Totally. The balance, right? Different situations, different approaches. There's this line in the text that really got me. Is this a realistic principle in cases such as Nazi Germany? Whoa.
Yeah, that one stopped me cold too. Some things just are wrong, no matter what.
Exactly. And that's where it gets really complicated. Who decides those universal wrongs? Not easy questions, but worth thinking about.
Big time. So, are we stuck? Relativism versus absolutism forever?
Challenged? Maybe. Not stuck. I think what we need is to remember, ethical thinking, it never stops. Be open to different ideas, challenge your own beliefs, and accept that sometimes there is no clear answer.
The more you learn, the less you know. Right. But in this case, the more you think about ethics, the more complex it gets.
Exactly. That's what makes it so interesting. You never stop exploring, never stop thinking.
Well, this deep dive has given me plenty to think about, that's for sure. A crash course in right and wrong and all the gray areas in between.
And hopefully got you thinking too out there. Remember, there's no one right way to do ethics. The important thing is to engage with these ideas. Think critically.
Perfectly said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everybody. Until next time, keep those moral compasses spinning.